Welcome to the webinar. Thanks for joining. So you see there are a few models within supply chain management. It's core, and another one. There are reference models. Some prioritize the flow of materials through different processes. Some prioritize the connection between different entities in the supply chain. And there's the flow approach, and there's the entity approach. At BRASI, we focus on the decision-making approach. What should be your decision-making priority when you are faced with a situation? Let's begin here. It's about me a little bit. I've been around for a few years and then worked with companies, global corporations, managing, producing and distributing engineering products, personal products, food, beverages, and pharmaceutical industry. So I have been fortunate to work with excellent people in my team, learn from them, and contributed to different processes, right from quality control to shop floor manufacturing and procurement, a lot of time in procurement, project management, and logistics, transportation, distribution, commodity buying. So I have worked with a lot of people. So 4C model is a strategic framework which attempts to align supply chain strategy, planning, and operations with the organization's vision and mission. So those who have taken the SysCom program or even other programs, we know that we start with a strategy, what is strategic focus, and it can change from time to time, period to period. If you are facing quality issues, that your focus goes to quality, but as an overriding concept, you want to choose to lead in price, your price competitions, your pricing models. For example, dollar stores, their strategy is pricing, cost. So the customers that go to dollar store, and any customer who goes to dollar store and to some boutique shops as well, when they go to dollar store, they expect lowest price and function quality. So if you are running dollar store business, which is a big business, your strategic focus is cost and functional quality. However, if you're running a high quality prestige brand business, your focus is on quality. Nothing to be compromised. It's not just functional. It has all the bells and whistles and the best quality that you can secure, because your customer, when walks through your doors or goes to your website, they expect nothing but top quality. So that's your strategy. So that strategy, we have learned, drives your planning. Which vendor, what design features, right from engineering to procurement, what processes you want to have on the shop floor, and specification and tolerances, they're all driven by your strategy. So strategy drives planning, and the planning, of course, drives the operation. What do we do tomorrow, next week, next month, next year? Because planning defines the boundaries, how many plants you have, how many vendors you have, which warehouses you are dealing with, which transporters you have. So strategy the first top level, planning the second level, and operations and technical planning, that is your third the level that actually creates your connection with your customers. So the 4 pillars are, what are the 4 pillars? And they're in that order. Customer service, top priority. Cash flow, second. Cost, third. And capacity, the last one. Now, the order does not mean that one is more important than the other, because you need cash flow, you need to control costs, you need capacity. The sequence is meant to identify what we need to secure first of all, in the sense of timing, right? Order, in the sense of order. So imagine customer service. If you fail to deliver today's orders, there won't be no cash. There won't be any cash flow tomorrow. So in order to stay in business, customer service must be the first priority. And it's just a function in a business, customer service, shipping, warehousing, sales, marketing. But the repercussion is back to the very top because cash flow drives your business. So customer service drives cash flow, which is the lifeblood of a company. Cash flow, the moment you have cash flow, you are in business, your routine cycle, and cost is the next best priority because you have to control cost for all kind of businesses, functional, mid-quality, top quality, prestige brand. Cost is because you are in competition. You are not alone in the business, in the market. There is competition. So cost is your immediate next concern. And that leads to you to utilize tools such as Lean, Six Sigma, and many other tools that you will be using. Then capacity. Capacity is your ability to deliver customer service. Capacity is where you ship from, the warehouses, where you make the stuff, your factories, and your capability. Capacity and capability are two different things. How you can maneuver through different constraints. And the capacity goes back to customer service. So they go in a circle, but the priority order is customer service, cash flow, cost, and capacity. So this is the model. So if you follow these steps in proper sequence, and you set up the business that you have purpose, objectives, vision, and mission clearly defined and defined, not just defined, but also communicated, shared with your team, with your stakeholders, vendors. The more people you have on board, the better it's understood, the better it's implemented. Then the strategy. What is strategy to compete? It's price-based, quality-based, convenience-based, technology-based. So that is your main focus of your strategy. Once you define that based on what you're making, what you're selling, then you start planning around those lines because planning will need those guidelines, those directions. That's your planning. Once planning produces a plan like a marching orders, like a plan to produce next week, next month, etc., there's a schedule, that is taken by operations that they implement the plan, right? So the guidelines come from the bottom. Then you develop a strategy to differentiate yourself from your competition. When you hear the word strategy, immediately think about the word differentiation. Your strategy differentiates you from your other players also brands because if we are selling dress shirts, you're not alone. There are other manufacturer brand, other brands. How do you make yourself distinct so the customer can identify and have a reason to come to buy your product? It's a quality, different styling, location, convenience, pricing, all that goes into the milieu, and you have a strategy. The strategy drives the planning. What do you do in terms of instructions how to make it, the operations implement. When you come to operations, then comes these questions. You have a situation, you have limited constraint, let's say constraint on a certain product. So you can go back and increase capacity, but that won't help you in today's situation. You need to ship today or tomorrow, whenever the promised date is. So to keep the existing customers is more important than going for new customers. You always want new customers, definitely, but to serve the existing customer is your top priority. You want to make sure that you can ship on promised date. That's your that metric, OTS metric, on-time shipping and full quantity. So customer service, then you, in that order, go to cash flow. That gives you cash flow. You do your engineering, your improvements, keep costs under check, and then capacity, you improve capacity or to see if you have enough capacity, or if you're coming short, you're growing and your capacity becomes tight, then capacity is a big question because it's capital intensive. You may be, depending on the industry, if you are labor intensive, you may hire people, but again, you have to hire a full person, right? It can't fractionate. But if you are capital intensive, like plants, big oil refineries or sugar plant or glass or steel, cement, then there's a big investment. Even for batch manufacturing, a piece of equipment may cost millions of dollars or millions of other currencies. So that capacity questions is a big question, and we approach top capacity fulfillment and reaching the full utilization. Then the question comes, do you want to wait until you get 20-30% overcapacity? Meanwhile, you take help from contract manufacturers, CMOs, contract manufacturing organizations, third-party manufacturers, providers, because they can be a good short-term solution for capacity questions, right? And then when the time comes, you can invest in internal capacity and invest in that when you have the confidence that the growth is going to stay there and you'll be able to utilize the new capacity over the gestation period or the life cycle.